As Anakin Skywalker struggles with his choices, Obi-Wan Kenobi senses his turmoil and reaches him before he fully falls to the dark side. Instead of turning against the Jedi, Anakin joins forces with Obi-Wan to confront Darth Sidious, leading to an epic battle that alters the fate of the galaxy. Anakin Skywalker stood at the center of the Jedi Council chamber, staring at the cityscape of Coruscant. The weight of the Jedi Order's decision pressed on him. The Council had denied him the rank of Master, yet they expected him to spy on Chancellor Palpatine. His mind was a storm of emotions, the fear of losing Padme, the anger at the Council's distrust, the doubt creeping into his heart. Palpatine's words echoed in his mind. If one is to understand the great mystery, one must embrace a larger view of the Force. He had rushed to Palpatine's office, desperate for answers. The Chancellor had promised him knowledge, power, the ability to save Padme, but now, standing at the edge of a great decision, a different voice called to him, Obi-Wan Kenobi. His former master had always been by his side, through every battle, every loss, every victory. Though they argued, though they disagreed, Obi-Wan had never turned his back on him. Unlike the Council, Obi-Wan truly cared. Anakin clenched his fists. His breath was heavy. Palpatine had told him the Jedi were plotting to take over the Republic, that they were traitors, that only he could stop them. But if that were true, why did he feel so conflicted? Then, through the Force, he felt a familiar presence approaching. The doors slid open, and Obi-Wan stepped inside. Anakin, Obi-Wan said softly, his expression filled with concern. "You don't have to do this." Anakin turned sharply. "Do what?" "Follow Palpatine. I know he's been manipulating you." Obi-Wan stepped closer. "I don't agree with the Council's decision either, but this isn't the way." Anakin's heart pounded. "He has the power to save Padme." Obi-Wan shook his head. "At what cost?" "The Sith don't save, Anakin. They corrupt. If you go down this path, you'll lose everything. Your friends, your family, yourself." Anakin hesitated. The room felt suffocating. The walls seemed to close in. He could see two futures ahead. One where he obeyed Palpatine and gained power, at the cost of his soul. The other where he stood with Obi-Wan, uncertain, but still himself. For the first time, Anakin saw the truth. He wasn't being offered power. He was being lured into a cage. He took a step back from the darkness. Mace Windu stood over Emperor Palpatine, his purple lightsaber reflecting the Sith Lord's twisted expression. "You have lost," Mace said firmly, his blade pressed against Palpatine's chest. "The Senate will decide your fate." Palpatine's face contorted with fury. "I am the Senate," he hissed, raising his hands. Lightning erupted from his fingertips, crackling with dark energy. Mace gritted his teeth, blocking the attack with his saber. The blue energy danced violently against the blade, illuminating the room in flashes of light and shadow. Anakin Skywalker stood frozen in the doorway, torn between duty and emotion. His heart pounded as he watched the struggle. Palpatine's voice turned desperate. "Anakin, you need me. The Jedi will never trust you. Only I can help you save Padme." Anakin clenched his fists. His vision blurred as memories of his nightmares surfaced. Padme dying in childbirth, slipping away beyond his reach. Mace grunted, stepping forward, forcing Palpatine to his knees. "He's too dangerous to be left alive." Palpatine's lightning faltered for a moment. His golden eyes locked onto Anakin's, pleading, manipulating. Anakin's breathing quickened. His fingers hovered over his lightsaber. Then clarity. A rush of the Force flooded through him, piercing the cloud of fear and doubt. He saw the trap for what it was. If he struck Mace down, he would be no better than the Sith. Anakin ignited his lightsaber and lunged, not at Mace, but at Palpatine. The Sith Lord's eyes widened, as Anakin's blade slashed across his hands, severing his connection to the dark energy. Palpatine howled, collapsing onto the floor. Sparks flickered from his scorched fingertips. Mace stared at Anakin, stunned. "You made the right choice." Palpatine groaned, his body weak, his power fading. Anakin took a shaky breath. "The Jedi need to stand together, not fall apart." Sirens wailed outside the Senate chambers. Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi would arrive soon. The Sith had been exposed. The future had changed. Obi-Wan Kenobi sensed a disturbance in the Force. His concern for Anakin Skywalker had only grown since the young Jedi was granted the title of Master. Something was off. The weight of the war, the whispers of the dark side. Anakin was struggling. Instead of going directly to Utapau to confront General Grievous, Obi-Wan made a different choice. He followed the pull of the Force, leading him to the Senate building. He moved swiftly through the corridors, his heart pounding. He had no proof, only instinct, but that instinct had saved him before. As he approached Chancellor Palpatine's office, the doors burst open. A flash of purple light filled the space. Mace Windu, his lightsaber locked with Palpatine's red blade. The Sith Lord's face twisted with rage, lightning crackling at his fingertips. Across the room, Anakin stood frozen, torn between loyalty and doubt. "Anakin," Obi-Wan's voice cut through the tension. Anakin turned, his eyes wide with conflict. He had just disarmed Windu, leaving the Jedi Master vulnerable. Palpatine's lips curled into a wicked grin, as he unleashed a storm of Force lightning, striking Windu with unrelenting fury. The Jedi Master cried out, his body convulsing. Obi-Wan leaped forward, igniting his lightsaber. With a precise slash, he intercepted the lightning, absorbing its energy into his blade. Palpatine snarled, his eyes burning with malice. "You should not have come," Kenobi the Sith Lord spat. Anakin stood paralyzed, breathing heavily. His mind raced. He had believed that Palpatine could help him, that the dark side held the power to save Padme. But Obi-Wan's presence changed everything. His former master wasn't just there to fight, he was there for him. "Anakin, step away from him," Obi-Wan urged. "This isn't the way." Palpatine turned his gaze toward Anakin. "You pledged yourself to me, Skywalker. Fulfill your destiny." Anakin's fingers tightened around his hilt. The weight of the moment pressed down on him. Obi-Wan took another step closer, his voice steady. "You're better than this, Anakin." For the first time in hours, Anakin exhaled. The war within him was not over, but the tide had shifted. Anakin Skywalker stood beside Obi-Wan Kenobi in the dimly lit chambers of the Senate. The air crackled with tension, as Darth Sidious, cloaked in darkness, rose from his throne. His piercing yellow eyes locked onto them, and a sinister smile curled his lips. "So the Jedi have come to betray me," Sidious hissed. "I expected nothing less." Anakin gripped his lightsaber, his heart pounding. The weight of his choices hung heavy on his shoulders. But this time he would not be manipulated. "You deceived us all," Anakin said, stepping forward. "The Sith will never rule this galaxy." Obi-Wan ignited his blue blade, his stance unwavering. "Your tyranny ends today, Chancellor." Sidious let out a low, cruel chuckle. "Foolish Jedi, you have no idea what true power is." With a flick of his wrists, Sidious unleashed a storm of Force lightning. Anakin barely raised his saber in time, deflecting the crackling energy as it sent sparks flying across the chamber. Obi-Wan leaped forward, striking fast and hard, but Sidious moved like a shadow, effortlessly dodging each blow. The Sith Lord ignited his crimson blade, clashing against Obi-Wan's strikes with overwhelming speed. Anakin joined the fray, his blue saber flashing as he fought beside his former master. The room echoed with the hum and crackle of clashing sabers. Sidious was relentless, his movements unnaturally fast. He struck at their defenses with inhuman precision, forcing them back step by step. Anakin gritted his teeth, his mind focused, his connection to the Force guiding his every move. Obi-Wan spun, aiming for Sidious's exposed side, but the Sith Lord countered with a powerful Force push, sending him crashing into a pillar. Anakin lunged in response, his attacks fueled by determination, but Sidious met him with a twisted grin. Good, good, Sidious taunted. Let your anger flow through you. Anakin ignored him, blocking a rapid series of strikes before countering with his own. He and Obi-Wan fought as one, their blades moving in perfect harmony. The Sith Lord was powerful, but for the first time he was outnumbered. Sidious leaped into the air, flipping behind them, slashing down with deadly precision. Obi-Wan barely parried in time, his arms trembling from the impact. Anakin spun, striking low, forcing Sidious to retreat. The Dark Lord sneered, raising his free hand. The room shook as he unleashed a devastating shockwave of Force energy, sending both Jedi tumbling across the floor. Anakin groaned, pushing himself up, his vision blurred. Obi-Wan coughed, gripping his saber tightly. We need to finish this, he muttered. Sidious laughed, his voice echoing. You cannot defeat me. The Sith are eternal. Anakin's grip tightened on his lightsaber. His path was clear. He would stand with the Jedi, no matter what, and the battle was far from over. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi stood side by side, their lightsabers igniting with a crackling hum. Across from them, Emperor Palpatine's eyes glowed with unnatural fire. His skeletal fingers twitched as a low, guttural laugh echoed through the dark chamber of his office. The air thickened with an oppressive weight, as if the Force itself recoiled from the darkness emanating from him. With a sudden motion, Palpatine lifted his hands, unleashing torrents of blue lightning. The energy surged forward like a tidal wave of raw destruction. Anakin and Obi-Wan raised their lightsabers in unison, barely managing to absorb the deadly attack. Sparks flew in all directions as their blades struggled against the sheer power of the Sith Lord. You have no idea of the power you face, Palpatine snarled, his voice dripping with malice. With a flick of his wrist, he sent a shockwave through the Force, hurling both Jedi backward. Anakin flipped midair, landing in a crouch, while Obi-Wan crashed into a nearby pillar, wincing as pain shot through his ribs. Anakin surged forward, his blade cutting through the darkness. Palpatine sidestepped with unnatural speed, his crimson lightsaber igniting in his grasp. Their blades clashed in a blinding flurry, sparks illuminating the dimly lit chamber. Obi-Wan recovered and joined the fray, attacking from the opposite side. Palpatine grinned, his movements eerily precise. He wielded his lightsaber with deadly efficiency, countering every strike with ease. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, he twisted between them, knocking Obi-Wan's saber aside and slashing at Anakin's arm. Anakin barely deflected the attack, but the force of the blow sent him staggering backward. You think two Jedi can defeat me? Palpatine hissed,